Hey Rockstars, I'm JB, expert salesperson and master presenter.
I'm the doctor, psychologist, and behavioral expert.
This is the Entrepreneur Mastery Lab podcast.
We're high-performance coaches that help service-based professionals and entrepreneurs take their skills to the next level.
70% of entrepreneurs fail, which is why every week we have real talk with real entrepreneurs to help ensure you are not one of them.
We're also the inventors of the Be Rich mindset,
where we rise to mastery,
inspire greatness,
celebrate knowledge,
and help others along the way.
So join us in the lab.
And now, on to the show.
What's up, folks? Welcome back to the lab. I'm JB.
I'm the doctor.
If you're joining us again, thank you. We appreciate you, and we do this for you. If you are a first-time listener, you are in for some fun. But do us a favor right up front. Make sure you subscribe, like, follow. If you're listening in on the podcast, give us a 5-star review. If you're checking us out on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and follow. We need your help to continue to grow, and we love to do this. So please do us this big, giant ask right up front, and we really appreciate you.
If there's a button there, click it, basically.
Yes. And even if it's not a button, keep clicking it. That's a test.
You just keep clicking.
Maybe pass, maybe fail. I'm not sure. Doc, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
I'm wonderful. We've been having some fun. Talked about last time with the PT with JB. Tell everybody what I'm doing on the Instagrams. Psycho Rock with the Doc.
Yeah, I love it.
Gotta love that, right? So basically, I just took my love of music and my enjoyment of psychoeducation and mixed the two together. So we hit you with a quick little snippet of music and then a conversation around that and how it kind of relates to the world of what we do.
Dude, I've been having fun with that. And you're like the freaking polar opposite on me. I like what I'm doing with the PT with JB and what you're doing with that. It's cool, though. It's cool to be able to bring two very different perspectives and angles at the people who follow and listen to us. So whether you like the better half of the duo or the other half of the duo, I don't know. You got something there for you.
It's fun on YouTube when he's pointing the opposite way. So I'm still the better half, apparently.
Only on your screen, man. I don't know what they see. So if you haven't checked the doc out yet, Doc, what's your handle? How can they find you on the gram?
At Dr. Andre Caruso, so Dr. Andre Caruso, or also gets posted on JB and the Doctor, so he makes it real easy for you. But go to both of them, click both, likes, follow, share.
Yeah,
we love it.
And it's maybe helpful to know that I don't just call him the doc for the hell of it. He actually is a true doctor of psychology and stuff. So he's a pretty sharp guy. You can find him on Instagram. Take a listen.
Yeah, it wasn't given to me. I had to earn it.
Yeah. All good things are earned, my man. All right. Well, hey, Doc, I'm super pumped. We got a great guest to bring on and join us today. Really excited to have him. We got Greg Drozdow, Drozdow Financial CEO. He's also CEO of Convos from Snappy Kraken, which is a fintech company. So he has his hands not just in financial services, but in the tech side of financial services as well. Not just helping clients, but helping other advisors, which is freaking awesome. Greg, thanks for joining us here in the lab, man.
Hey, greatly appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Happy to be here.
Yeah, dude. We're pumped to have you. We're excited to be able to explore all of the things you're doing because you got a lot. You're juggling a lot. We've talked about this offline. Do us a favor, though, for our listeners who haven't talked to you before, just share a little bit about who you are and what you're doing today so they got a better feel for that.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, just want to say again, thanks for having me on. It's been great to get to know you briefly, and I'm looking forward to diving a little bit more about you guys too. Just to give you guys some context, again, my name is Greg Drozdow. I am the CEO of Drozdow Financial, a financial services and education company and advisory group, as well as the director of business development for Convos by Snappy Kraken, which is a text message marketing program for financial advisors to help them build deeper relationships through text message marketing and automated marketing campaigns. So a little bit about me. I've been in the financial services industry for about 10 years, worked for mostly as an advisor for most of my career up till the last couple of years, where I got into the fintech game. And from Miami, Florida, lived in the Northeast, started my career in Boston, jumped to New York. So been all over the roadmap, had some handful of great experiences, some also not so great experiences, but learning lessons. And it has fortunately all brought me to where I am today, in which I am extremely grateful. And it's been quite the journey. So I'm excited to dive in and, start to do more of these and chat with awesome, forward-thinking, smart people like you, and who are also kind of in the business game and doing your thing and just trying to make the world a better place. So I greatly appreciate the opportunity, and I'm excited to dive in a little further.
Well, we appreciate you, man. And we got to take a pause to congratulate you and celebrate, because I don't know if you caught it. I actually promoted you in the introduction. You're not director of business development. You're the CEO of Combo. So you're welcome. I have that power, apparently.
Got promoted.
Yeah. No, I'm the director of business development. That would be the official title. And I do have another partner who's a very, very smart, awesome guy, Jake Lazarus, who's our head of product and general manager as well. So we're running things on that together with our CEO of Snappy, Kraken, Robert Sophia. So it's a total team effort. And we'll be diving into that a lot too. And there's a lot of exciting stuff to dig into here.
So we're just putting Robert on notice here that the future CEO is talking.
I don't know how I'll feel about that, but we'll see.
Before we even get started, I have to know where we got the name Snappy Kraken from, because right now I'm just picturing is like when they say release the Kraken, he just comes out and starts dancing and snapping his fingers. Yes. If that's not what you're doing for a logo and a brand, you need to do that immediately. But
you want to know?
I need to know where that name came from.
Yeah. No, you want to know? You actually hit it right on the money, Doc. We at the end of every video. So if you watch any of our content, we have the Kraken snapping at the end. And the reason why the name Snappy Kraken came about. So for those of you listening, Snappy Kraken, we are an automated growth program for financial advisors where we provide marketing automation and digital marketing campaigns to help them build deeper relationships with prospects and clients and drive business growth. And the reason why we named it, or Snappy Kraken came about, was because a kraken, like a mythical sea creature, right? Like an octopus, represents the different arms and legs of marketing. And marketing is very complicated, right? Especially in the financial services world. So we're here to help put all those pieces together, bring in the arms and legs, and make marketing a snap for you.
Nice. That's snazzy.
It's catchy.
Yeah. All right, Greg, bring us back, man. I mean, financial services and fintech. Dude, how'd you end up here?
Yeah. Great question. That's a deep one, but we'll try and we'll give the good summary here. So basically, so a little bit about, again, me and my background. I went to school in Boston, graduated in 2012 with a business degree from a school called Brandeis University. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it, but small liberal arts school, actually initially founded on Jewish principles, but very diverse. And one of the things that I was focused on during school was actually being pre-med. So my dad is a doctor. He's kind of instilled, just good work ethic, but also just, the opportunity that, a medical career could provide. And, as you kind of are figuring things out through college and just even, when you're younger in your career, you're not really sure of, right, the right steps you're taking. You kind of think and you hope that it's going to be the right one for you. And eventually maybe you find your purpose, and that's great. For me, that path and that process took a little bit longer. So I was pre-med for about 3 years. And then through that, I started getting involved in entrepreneurship. I was always good at talking to people, or that's, I guess, what I enjoyed and what people told me they, found fond of me of. But, I enjoyed speaking with people and, being personable, and, I was doing sales, and I was just trying to get involved in business because I knew if you had skill sets of learning business, finance, things like that, you would pretty much do well, depending on, your career, but almost anything, as long as you have those top skill sets, it would take you far. So when I was pre-med, I wasn't happy, and I was trying to figure things out. My senior year, did a business, got my business degree. And then I decided, going into the first year out of school, I took my first job. And that opportunity was a sales kind of, consulting job as a financial advisor. And one of the things that I realized was, I didn't know a lot about money. I knew some people close to me who had made some really bad financial decisions. I also had some people in my network, thanks to my family, that had made some really good ones. And I saw the total contrast of what that, was for their lives respectively. And I just, wanted to figure out a way where I can make an impact on people at a, quickly at a young age. Also learn skill sets that I didn't know to teach myself, and get some licenses underneath my belt. So whatever else I did in the future, I could jump and pivot and maybe move if it didn't end up working out. So I ended up taking that gig. It was with ING. I don't know if you guys have heard ING Financial, like the old lion. Okay. Josh is waving, shaking his head.
Yep, for sure.
So they're now VOYA in the United States. And it was a new advisor training program with a group called McAdam Financial. Still close with some of those guys today. They, really helped mold and kind of helped me build my career as an advisor, taught you everything from start to finish in this new advisor training program of how to help a family, with investments, planning, tax strategies, estate planning, insurance. And I was going around and to like home shows in like Boston and New Hampshire to try and meet people face to face and meet clients. And it was really old school, but the system that they had at the time worked. We then got into some cold calling. So I did that, in a sales career. That's pretty much, any sales career, you got to eventually go through that rite of passage, and, had some results. But throughout that entire journey, those 3 years that I was with that organization, I started questioning the methods of how to really build a business. And, I was learning from people in the industry that were very knowledgeable about financial services. They were knowledgeable about products. But one thing that stuck out to me that I felt was missing is I didn't feel that everyone was super knowledgeable about like digital marketing. And that was just something that I was always trying to figure out. Like I see people on YouTube, I see people online making, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, like online. How can I do that? And I really went through this like self-exploration phase of figuring it out. So jump from that firm to another firm, the next 3 years of my career, which was Penn Mutual, learned the insurance game. Similar, it was a little bit better in the sense of marketing, but still kind of doing things like in more of an old school manner. And through that process, I actually hired a consulting agency to build me a marketing funnel, because I was like, you know what? I don't know how to do this myself. I got to pay someone who's an expert to teach me and maybe help me do it. Did that, paid like 10 or 15 grand to get that whole thing built with landing pages, with email sequences, with the offer about, and it was at the time an insurance offer. And believe it or not, I ran it through our compliance department, as well as that firm and then my next firm, and I could not get it off the ground. So that was kind of the pain point where I'm like, man, I'm in this industry that's just like boxed in. No one's teaching me. I know there's some really smart people in here, but I still got to find them in this space. And I'm trying to figure out how I can still stick with this, because I really love what I do and loved what I did at the time, right? Helping people with personal finance and money management. And, I'm just still fascinated with everything, including, the markets and how just the economy works today. But I just wanted to do it in an effective way and scale, right? And make my life easier and provide more value. And that's always, I think, the name of the game in business. So after that, just real quick, did a quick stint, with Prudential for a couple of years. And then through that process, I ended up finding Snappy Kraken because they were marketing to me. And, so as an advisor, right, I was as an advisor myself looking for a marketing system. They were marketing to me, ended up figuring out, hey, maybe I could actually teach other financial advisors what I've gone through. And, we have a great product with great campaigns, and Snappy Kraken really has it all. I mean, digital marketing campaigns for lead generation, prospect nurturing, client engagement campaigns, everything that I needed for my practice. I'm like, oh my gosh, like other advisors could definitely benefit from this. So I figured, hey, is there an opportunity for me? Could I help other people, other advisors, and make a further impact on the industry, and maybe still keep my financial planning licenses to serve clients, because I enjoy that. And that opportunity, did present itself, luckily, after some talks. And that's what happened. That's how I got to Snappy Kraken. And then throughout that, there's a little bit more to it and how we ended up with Convos, but I'll just pause there for a second.
You can take a breath. It's all right.
It's a little low of a story, but.
Well, so I want to level set for some of our listeners, because if they're not inside the industry, then they probably aren't that aware. But, you brought up names like Penn Mutual, like ING, now VOYA, now Prudential, who I think is the largest insurance company in this country, but also hundreds of years old. You're talking about very conservative companies and very kind of old school companies. And you even used, I think, that language, old school. So it doesn't surprise somebody from the industry to know, well, gee, I want to market online and be digital, and I freaking can't do it. They won't let me do it. I don't know that a lot of industries have that same challenge, but you talk to attorneys and they're not allowed to business develop. You talk to psychologists and therapists and they're not allowed to business develop, right? So there's instances in every industry, I think, where you are handcuffed a little bit, right? I'll use the language handcuffed, but you see it a lot in financial services when it comes to putting anything in text, anything at all, which unfortunately is the way like everybody, I don't know, does everything nowadays, because nobody really wants to pick up the phone if they don't need to. So I'm saying all that, not for you, Greg. I mean, this stuff, but for any of our listeners out there that might not be aware. So that's a major challenge. And it sounds to me like you set out on your own to create Drozdow Financial and then to join Snappy Kraken because you were trying to do something that you couldn't find an avenue to do with like the established players in the field. Is that kind of a quick way to sum that up?
Yeah, that's a great summary. I mean, don't get me wrong. The names that I mentioned, I had some really good people in my corner at those organizations, and
all great companies. No knock on any of those companies, right?
All great companies, and they,
just in case they want to sponsor us.
Exactly. There you go. But just from a cultural and like just kind of where I was heading, I think I think it was obvious. Like I was very forward thinking, I still am today. And I really, am fascinated with just technology and how it can make an impact on the world. It was just really tough to kind of relate what I was attempting to build at that time. And then, with compliance, like it was just really challenging, with the copywriting, like, there's kind of like rules, but there isn't like a fine line of what is and what isn't. And it can be interpreted based on the organization. Yep. We still deal with that today when we work with certain enterprise partners at Snappy Kraken that we try and get approved, but slowly and steadily, the industry is catching on to the importance of digital. And, that's what's most important. And, it takes time. It takes time. It's like anything, right? We see things that evolve over 5 and 10 years, like decades. Sometimes it may seem like it's super slow in the micro, which may only be like a few months or even year, right? It's years, not even that long. But yeah, it's moving in the right direction. And at the time it was definitely challenging, but much better place now. So very grateful for that.
No, it's awesome, man. And kudos to you for taking the step out. I actually want to focus in on that and zero in on that for a second, if I may. You explored multiple places. I mean, you got your foundation built and your feet wet. You understood the business, and you were faced with this challenge. This challenge being, hey, I want to get out there in a certain way. I think it's a necessity, right, to get out there in a certain way that I can't seem to do. How long did it take you to kind of get to the point where you turned around and said, I got to go do this. Like it's not going to get done for me somewhere else. I need to go ahead and do this myself. Just if you have any insight into that for our listeners, because I think a lot of our listeners probably deal with that, maybe that's that specific challenge, but they're dealing with challenges where they're wondering to themselves, hey, do I need to step out and do something here myself, or can I continue down this path and make it work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there was a time, I mean, I would say the years of like 2018, really maybe 2017 to 2019, it was actually after I got married. I went on an awesome honeymoon, and I came back to reality after that. And things kind of started like hitting me from like, hey, maybe just questioning a few of the ways I was doing things in life and my career. And for me, that process was like, it was probably longer than it needed to be. I would say like it took, a year to a couple of years to really, there were slow progressions throughout that of making progress in the right direction of like where I was going and wanted to do, but like learning and figuring it out on my own was definitely really challenging. I didn't have, like, I learned everything from like online searching, long nights, like deep into like social media searching of people that I admired, like systems, courses, right? But the biggest thing that I took away from it that helped me the most is honestly just, it was investing in my self-education, right? Just understanding and trying to, and falling in love with the learning and growth process, as painful as sometimes that might be. That for me wasn't always the case. I was always kind of encouraged to, I was a good student in school. And that was taught to me by my parents and stuff, which I'm, again, very grateful for that. But, like throughout life, you go through phases of like highs, lows, and kind of, can burn out at times. And there was a time like when I was in college, I just really wanted to have fun. I guess I wasn't really enjoying those classes. And then even after that, I wasn't really falling in love with like always, learning new things. And I just kind of had to get back in that rhythm of what made me kind of that good student when I was younger, those simple daily disciplines, right? Like, following a course or program, that I needed at the time, just like even working out every day, just like eating right, meditating, stuff like that. And, it was a tough time between like 2017, 2019. And then, it just, I kept investing in myself, education. I kept networking with the right people. I didn't stop. And eventually, like, there's a book that I'm, kind of what I say has helped me. I guess you could say it's my transformation that really, took me to the next level. It's called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. And, he talks about like the simple daily disciplines that just compound over time. As I said, like the micro, it's super hard to kind of maybe digest that, but long-term, things start to fall into fruition. So.
That's cool, man. And Doc, I couldn't help but kind of hearing, I had this great honeymoon. I stepped back from my routines and all of a sudden it was a little eye-opening, right? We're just talking a disruption. To the status quo, and it does make a big difference. It gives you that perspective a lot of times, and that's why I think the Doc and I talk a lot about habit forming and habit changing, which is really behaviors. And I don't want to take the Doc's the words out of his mouth, but he's talking so much right now.
I'm moving my lips and the words are coming out of your mouth, so it's just working perfectly. I think but it talks what you just said, right? It's that behavior. I've trained you so well to know what I'm going to say that I don't even have to say it anymore.
I would love to hear what you have to say in the sense of your views on that and your experience with, how, maybe even someone like me, or I'm sure other people have gone through it or going through it. Right. And, your thoughts, your beliefs, turn into actions and, create habits that can create and shape your destiny. So I'd love to hear your take on all this, and just curious on your thoughts.
How much time do you have?
I have plenty.
Well, if you are a member of our Facebook group, the Entrepreneur Mastery Lab, we have kind of conversations about that all the time. I'm just promoting the Facebook group. I'm still going to answer your question. And if you're watching on Facebook, it's coming right down below you, right? Or if you're watching on YouTube. I think what we were just talking about makes a lot of sense of the idea of just making those small little changes. And that's, I think, what you took from that book, right? Is kind of just implementing things. And then you start to build that momentum. Going on a honeymoon, that's a big life-changing event, right, is going to give you a new way of looking at things. It's going to create some new priorities. And that mindset of now I'm not just having to worry about myself. It's official now. I have to worry about someone else as well. Even if that's the case before you get married, it just changes it to a slightly just different level. So it gives you that new insight. And then you get that disruption, like JB says, of coming back and just getting that new insight and now giving yourself a chance to do things a little bit differently. And then you make those little micro steps and they start to build some momentum and they really grow into those new behaviors and habits. So, right on.
Yeah. It's a process, can take people a couple months. Sometimes it could take years.
Yeah. Everyone's equal. Not everyone is equal. So everyone kind of has their own little strategy on how it works and their own timing. And, the thing I think we talk about the most is patience, right? Just having that patience and having a little grace with yourself. Yeah. To find it at your own level. You don't have to hit certain metrics. I think that's one thing I'll mention when people talk about books. I always like to say is, books are guides to kind of help you. They're tools. They're not gospel. They're not something you have to follow every little bit of and try to fit your life into someone else's writing. You take the tools from it, you implement the best pieces for you, and then you find your own little groove.
Yeah. Right. Well, Doc's been working on that whole grace thing and patience thing with me for like 2 years now. So maybe it's rubbing off a little bit. I doubt it, but he's trying. He's making a real effort here. I'm a tough one. Greg, at what point? since you joined Snappy Kraken and you created Combos, which is a text messaging service, right? You know, it's a digital marketing service to send text messages on automated text messages, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So at what point did you start to, once you were able to really get going with that, see the impact of it, right? Because previously you had been in this experience where you wanted to do this stuff and you couldn't. Now all of a sudden you're director of business development. You're helping other advisors implement this sort of thing into their business. What kind of impact has that had, and how important do you think it is to any business, let alone advisory?
Yeah. Well, this is also a very exciting topic because text messaging in general is, I think, an underused business development tool, and also client service tool. And it's specifically for the financial services industry, you know, it's definitely underutilized for a few reasons. I would say number one, text messaging is one, in order for advisors and any industry professional that has a lot of regulation. So like this would also fall for like attorneys, accountants, for example. You know, you really need to separate your personal phone from your business phone. And a lot of times, really, there hasn't been that much technology that has really done that. There are definitely a few, like, you know, companies. For one common company in our space is MyRepChat, which is also Convo's partner. And, you know, they do like archiving of messages and things, but a lot of advisors aren't educated on this. They're number one, not really educated on digital marketing in general and the power of what a strong email automation system with quality content, you know, for social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, even Instagram, you know, now TikTok, like, can do for a brand and your business. And then with that, you know, so that's what Snappy Kraken does at its core. It's automated growth program, which is digital marketing campaigns that consists of email elements, social media elements, and we build out all the content. We have an in-house creation and design team. You know, we also have proof of performance behind the campaigns. We've tested them. We have a handful of case studies and results, which you can see on our website. But one of the things that we looked at last year, myself and a couple of members of our executive team, Robert, our CEO of Snappy Kraken, and Jake, my partner, is that, you know, what other ways can people engage, right, when a lot of those other channels aren't really being either utilized fully or just they're oversaturated? Like, you know, maybe you missed an important, you know, social media post. Maybe you're a prospect or client and you might have not seen that important social media post from that advisor. Or maybe you're a financial advisor and you're not getting really good engagement with your emails, right? It's on average less than 25% open rates. Text messaging is 98%. So we just figured, you know, texting is a huge communication channel. We all do it, right? We all have a phone, I hope. And, you know, we text with our loved ones, we text friends, we maybe text a funny meme or a joke or an article about something important, or just coordinating plans to get a coffee or scheduling a dentist appointment, right? Whatever that is. I mean, texting, we use it it's the most common used form of communication. So how can we empower other financial advisors to text their prospects and clients? And when we look at some of the data, which we're building out a big report on this right now, but we've done some initial data research. You know, most people, which is, for example, like when it comes to appointment reminders, you know, majority of people prefer appointment reminders over text versus email, right? And when we surveyed the landscape of like, how do advisors communicate with their prospects and clients? Yes, email for like important things, especially when it's like, you know, secured private information and, you know, you're talking about accounts or, you know, detailed stuff like that. But general like communication of like check-ins, maybe how you're doing, even obviously phone call is always going to be there, but, you know, text, right? We all text. So it's been really exciting. We just launched it in December. We were in a beta for the last 6 months. We really built this system and this program from the ground up. So it's a separate automated marketing, text marketing platform where financial advisors can come on board. They can manage all of their conversations in one place with all of their contacts, prospects, or clients. There's the ability to send campaigns. That's another thing. Most other tech platforms in this space aren't focused on marketing, meaning they don't give really any coaching or direction on how to use texting in a marketing format, and also the ability to deploy messages to the masses, but making it look like it's coming from just you and having a conversation with that other person, which is a campaign, right? So that's what we do. And in addition, just automating some of these things. So like, let's say someone texts into you, right? Let's say you guys, for your podcast or your business, right? You had someone that texts in, right? If you could be doing something else, and perhaps maybe there'd be an automation that could respond to that person and then encourage them to book a time with you, depending on what they need, right? So things like that. We're kind of forward thinking on the content and on the automations, and that's really what Convos is all about at its core.
Well, the numbers really back this up, right? You know, you look at the amount of emails that get opened and it continues to drop. The number of text messages that get opened, it's like sky high, right? Do you know that number, Greg? I don't know that number off the top of my head, but I know it's sky high. We could probably Google it, or any of our listeners could Google it in like 10 seconds or less, depending on how fast.
I mean, on general, like open and response rates for text is around 98%. It's almost 100%.
What were you going to say, Doc?
I was going to say sky high was a good technical number. I was fine with it.
Yeah, we're all comfortable with sky high. 98% is a pretty big friggin' number. I mean, it's, you know, it's true. You know, and it's interesting because I'm starting to see it get adopted a lot more. My phone's starting to blow up with text messages. I got one just the other day where it's like, oh, hey, your name and number ran across my desk. I wanted to, you know, have a conversation. When's a good time? And it was from a number I didn't know, and it was a text message. But guess what? I opened it. Yeah. Now that email would have never in a million years got open. The text message got open, and I was like, well, there's a little phishing going on here, right? So tell me what this is about. Oh, you know, employment opportunity. Like, nope. You're not cold calling me for an employment opportunity. I work for myself. I have no interest. But you are seeing it more and more often. I think a lot of our listeners probably have stories like that as well. We're starting to see the text messages, and it is easier and faster and more convenient. And clearly it gets in front of people more and more often. So what's the big term vision for you and Snappy, Kraken? Like, kind of what's the end result you're trying to get to here?
Yeah, I mean, for us as a company, you know, we are excited about where we're at and where we're going, and, you know, making a big footprint on the financial services space for marketing automation. So we've had a handful of awards, which has been an exciting thing for us. You know, we've won. Actually, last year I had the opportunity to represent our company at the Wealth Management Awards in New York, nice. Which was pretty cool. Yeah, really, really nice experience. And Convos was up for one, but it was early. But we'll be back. We didn't win that one, but we'll be back. But luckily, Snappy Kraken won for social media leadership and marketing automation. Nice. And I think that, you know, at its core, we've also been ranked, you know, the best overall content marketing company by the MarTech Awards for about 3 years in a row. So we really want to be the go-to place for, you know, automated marketing, digital marketing campaigns for financial advisors to help them build deeper relationships and drive business growth. And we want to be the number one player in the space. You know, there's some other ones, other players right now. Personally, I mean, I am biased. There's a reason why I decided to join our company and you know, what we call one of our core values, chase the vision, quote unquote. But, you know, I really do think we are unique in what we do. And that's because I have been around the block and I have failed, and I've experienced what a lot of advisors go through. And I know what content, at least I think so. I feel I have a good idea of what content really does work. And I have also looked at some of the competitors and other people in the space, and not that it's bad, but I think we do things in a very unique way. And it excites people, it empowers people. And I feel like it brings a new sense of energy back to financial services that has been kind of just like not there for so long, you know? And that's what excites me the most, is that we all wake up, our company is, everyone's fully aligned. You know, we want to be the number one player. We want to continue growing. We want to take this to, you know, call it to the moon, right? But in all seriousness, like, you know, 8-9 figures, right? We want to do that. And the way we're going to do that is by continuing to make an impact, a positive impact on other financial advisors' lives so they can, right? They can make their message more powerful and reach more people to impact their lives as well.
So I just thought of a way that we can take that to the moon immediately. It's going to be a slight pivot, though.
Okay.
Because you're both married, and I'm hearing automated text messaging. You have to figure out a way to automate the text messages to your wife that, yes, honey, I'm thinking of you. Yes, honey, I'm doing this. Because you know you're never going to remember to do that. So
that's good. That's good.
You're welcome. I just want a percentage.
Yeah, that's a good one. Maybe in the future we'll get into other business lines.
Yeah, we'll call that one Romeo.
There you go. And, yeah, who knows? Even personal, but it's funny. One of my mentors talks about, like, he's really all about automating like almost every area of his life, even like his cooking, right? And like communication. Obviously, like there's a personal aspect to everything you're doing, right? We're all humans. Right. We're face to face with our loved ones and stuff every day, but it's something that's not off the table. I'm sure there's people who would I'm sure people would find value in it.
Yeah, until your wife and sister get like the same exact text from their significant other at like the same time of day. They're like, wait a second.
A risk you should be willing to take.
They only find out if they talk to each other at the same time. So
that's the key. Just break them apart. Your sisters, you don't need to talk. By the way, I do not condone that. It's just a joke.
Yes.
I'm not touching any more of that conversation.
Yep, we're done. We're done with that one.
So, Greg, I also heard that you have something you'd like to share with our audience. What would that be?
In regards to just information, yeah. I mean,
giveaway information on how they can reach you. All the good stuff. Now's the time to sell.
All right, sell. Perfect. Well, couple things. Number one, there's two main audiences that we serve and our companies serve. So number one, if you're an individual, family, business, executive, individual retail investor, and you're looking to get confidence, clarity, in your financial picture, you can check out our website, DrozdowFinancial.com. And, where we're really focused on providing knowledge, tools, strategies you need to help you build, protect, and define your own true wealth to empower your life. And, we do some really amazing work and incredible transformations for a lot of people on just money mindset, financial coaching, and obviously, planning, investment strategy, and the whole 9 yards there. And then, for those listening, if you happen to have a financial advisor or a consultant, or you are a financial advisor or insurance agent, whether you're an independent RIA, registered investment advisory firm, or you're part of a bigger institution like a big broker dealer, you can check us out at snappykraken.com, snappykraken.com. And our text messaging program that I mentioned is called Convos, and that is getconvos.com. So getconvos.com. Text message marketing solution for financial advisors, and it's Convos by Snappy Kraken.
Awesome. Very, very cool, Greg. Well, it's an adoption that needs to take place. Let's just put it this way. Businesses need to be innovative. You need to be able to cut through the noise, and you kind of do need to be on the forefront of this. So whether or not you're in financial advisory space or you're in any other sort of business, if you're not utilizing technology like this, you are probably just hurting yourself by not being on the forefront of where you need to be. So keep an eye on that. If you are in the financial services industry, you certainly know who to chat with. Greg, we loved having you on, man. Thanks for joining us for the conversation today.
I appreciate it. To the next convo.
Absolutely, man.
Thanks, Greg. And of course, all that information about Greg will be in the show notes. And of course, he's a member of the Entrepreneur Mastery Lab. So join us there and you can ask him more questions. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
So, Doc, I got this really interesting story with Greg. I got introduced to Greg by somebody out of Boston that I met. So I meet this guy out of Boston. I get introduced to this gentleman in Boston. He's like, hey, I got somebody down in your neck of the woods in South Florida that you really need to get in touch with. So he puts us in touch. and we go and grab lunch, Greg and I, and we're having this conversation. He's like, oh yeah, my best friend, my college roommate is in town. We were just out last night grabbing dinner, so on and so forth. And long story short, oh, you guys both worked at the same company. Yeah. I say, well, what's his name? Well, his best friend, his college roommate, was an intern that worked directly with me like 15 years ago at a job in the corporate world. And we know each other really well. He's a great guy. And it's just a small world, man. And you talk about connection and getting connected to people. And it's everything in business, because now we both know, wow, this guy is close with somebody that I'm close with. And you have that instant comfortability. You talk about that all the time, Doc. Just a really cool story. And we have things like that happen all the time. So connection's important. And I think Snappy Kraken's kind of helping drive better connections with people. And that's really the impact it makes. I think it's really cool.
I know you just said a lot of stuff there. And if you're not watching on YouTube, which you really should do, there's a light shining on JB's face.
I need a hat.
And it's just like getting the bottom half. And when he talks, it looks like a cartoon character. And so you said something, but all I saw was JB as a cartoon character, and I was thoroughly enjoying it. So if you're not watching on YouTube, make sure you go to YouTube and at least, get to the end of this and check it out.
I'll gladly blind myself right now to stay in frame in the camera, because that's what's going on.
Well, it's not as good when you're in the full blinding, but the cartoon character motif was definitely working for you.
Well, thanks, Doc. That was good. All right. Well, it was a really cool conversation. Greg's doing a lot of great stuff. So hopefully we got some good takeaways for our listeners out of that one.
Absolutely. And of course, you can find Greg and us and all our previous guests inside our Facebook group. It's free, but it's private, but it's free. It's the Entrepreneur Mastery Lab. Same name as podcast to make things easy for you. So make sure you're joining us there, or you can find us on all our social medias at JB and the Doctor, and on our website, jbandthedoctor.com.
That's right. And so if you're still listening in, still watching, thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, give us a 5-star review. We really depend on your promotion to promote what we're doing here. And we want to keep having great guests on. So please, please, please go ahead and do that for us if you haven't already. And we are looking forward to seeing you, or at least talking with you next week.
We could see you too. Just don't tell anybody.
What software you got on there, man? All right, everybody. I'm JB. I'm out.
Peace out, yo.